Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're going to move now on to Unit 26, the first of two liquids, namely the lateral L. 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 Sorry. The lateral L. Okay. L. L. Lace. Lace. Sail. Sail. Lay the front part of your tongue along the alveolar ridge, with the tip of the tongue touching the gums just where the teeth join them. Contract the tongue, drawing in the sides so that air can pass on either side. If you suck in air, you will feel it on the sides of your tongue. Now push the air out of your mouth, at the same time vibrating your vocal cords so that you produce a voiced sound. Because liquids like nasals are always, and semiconsonants are always voiced. There are, in fact, two L sounds in English, but they are not phonemic. That is, they do not make any difference in meaning, i.e., it makes no difference to meaning which one you use. The L you have just made, the clear L, occurs before a vowel like lost, sailing, hollow. The other L sound, the dark L, occurs before a consonant sound called cold, build, or at the end of a word, full, middle, chapel. To make the dark L, keep the front of your tongue against the alveolar ridge, but try to say a long ooh. You will feel the back of your tongue rising. Note that a great many words that end in dark L have an U sound immediately before. Mobile, unable, fatal. Onto small a of capital A, the clear L. Love, life, look, lots. Love, life, look, lots. Laugh, leg, load, limp. Laugh, leg, load, limp. Element, 11. Alone, along. Element, 11, alone, along. Sleep, slip, slope, sloppy. Sleep, slip, slope, sloppy. Actually, yellow, silly, gorilla, actually, yellow, silly, gorilla. English, ticklish, quickly, lonely. English, ticklish, quickly, lonely. Now, the consonant cluster lia, that is a ya, preceded by an L. Failure, million, failure, million. On to B, the dark, L, all, full, cell, all, full, cell. Pool, fall, growl. Pool, fall, growl. Curl, snarl, aisle. Curl, snarl, aisle. Notice the S is zero, it's not pronounced. You do not say isle or isle, whatever. Curl, snarl, aisle. Table, table, marvel. Careful, table, marvel, careful. Build, field, gold. Build, field, gold. Build, field, gold. Also, wealthy, although. Also, wealthy, although. In C, you have the L silent, that is, it is not pronounced. It's available, as a letter, but it's not pronounced. Half, calf, halfpenny, half, calf, halfpenny. Calm, palm, almond. Calm, palm, almond. Talk, chalk, walk. Talk, chalk, walk. Could, should, would. Could, should, would. Fork, yoke, Suffolk. Fork, yoke, Suffolk. Kernel, kernel, salmon, salmon. Kernel, salmon, salmon. Onto the proverbs: as large, as life, as large as life. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. Let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Live and let live. Live and let live. Love me little, love me long. Love me little, love me long. Little things please little minds. Little things please little minds. On to capital B. Do you really like living in a lighthouse all alone? I absolutely love living in a lighthouse all alone. One more time. Do you really like living in a lighthouse all alone? I absolutely love living in a lighthouse all alone. Do you lead a delightfully social life on Hollywood Boulevard? Naturally, I lead a delightfully social life on Hollywood Boulevard. Have you ever lain in a sleeping bag on a lonely island in a total eclipse? I frequently lay in a sleeping bag on a lonely island in a total eclipse. Does it look as if the long platform is actually parallel to the railway lines? It certainly looks as if the long platform is actually parallel to the railway lines. On to capital C. Now, these are names of creatures: monkey, giraffe, butterfly, crocodile, rhinoceros. One more time. Monkey, giraffe, butterfly, crocodile, rhinoceros. Leopard, porcupine, donkey, tiger, nightingale. Leopard, porcupine, donkey, tiger, nightingale. Gorilla, spider, kangaroo, mosquito, canary. Gorilla, spider, kangaroo, mosquito, canary. Lizard, hippopotamus, elephant, tortoise, chimpanzee. Lizard, hippopotamus, elephant, tortoise, chimpanzee. Hyena, squirrel, peacock, zebra, alligator. Hyena, squirrel, peacock, zebra, alligator. Onto the dialogue on the opposite page, page 57. A lovely little lion. I love wildlife in its natural element. Look at all your lovely animals, Lucy. Lots and lots. 11 actually. And look, here's a lovely little lion. A real live black lion asleep on the lawn. That's a leopard actually. I don't believe it. Leopards are yellow. Look, Lucy, he's laughing. Do animals understand the English language? Leave him alone, Billy. He's licking his lips. Would you like a lettuce leaf, little lion? Billy, be careful. Oh Lord, let go. Help, Lucy, he's got my leg. Actually, that's how I lost my left leg. You wouldn't listen. You silly fool. Well, let's limp over and look at the gorillas. End of the dialogue. Shall I do it again? Let me do it one more time. A lovely little lion. I love wildlife in its natural element. Look at all your lovely animals, Lucy. Lots and lots. 11, actually. And look, he is a lovely little lion. A real live black lion asleep on the lawn. That's a leopard, actually. I don't believe it. Leopards are yellow. Look, Lucy, he's laughing. Do animals understand the English language? Leave him alone, Billy. He's licking his lips. Would you like a let us sleep, little lion? Billy, be careful. Oh, Lord. Let go. Help, Lucy. He's got my leg. Actually, that's how I lost my left leg. You wouldn't listen, you silly fool. Well, let's limp over and look at the gorillas. On to the second liquid, namely the trilled R. Run, run. Though in a number of languages, L and R are not phonemic, in English they are. Phonemic, that is, they make a difference in meaning. In English they are. And it is important to distinguish clearly between them, both when listening and when speaking. When pronouncing R, there is no gap on either side of the tongue. In fact, the tongue lies relaxed on the bottom of the mouth, with only the tip raised towards the alveolar ridge. Now, move the tip rapidly downwards so that it just brushes very briefly against the ridge and resumes its former position, at the same time expelling a little air and vibrating the vocal cords. This is a flapped R. There's only one flap. Very often, there is no flap at all. Fricative R. The tongue lies still. R is only pronounced before a vowel sound, not before a consonant nor at the end of a word. Harm, bad, poor, there, later. Okay, now on to small a of capital A. Roar, run, red, roof. Roar, run, red, roof. Rare, roam, rage, rice. Rare, roam, rage, rice. Rubbish, rabbit, river, really. Rubbish, rabbit, river, really. Crying, drowning, Freddy, angry. Crying, drowning, Freddy, angry. Carry, worry, mirror, tomorrow. Carry, worry, Mirror, tomorrow. Wrong, right, wrist, wrap. Wrong, right, wrist, wrap. In the following words, the R is silent. First, when it is available in a word final position, that is at the end of the word. You don't pronounce the R in British English. Car, fa, nia. Car, fa, nia. Poor, later. Prefer, poor, later, prefer. Now before consonant sounds, R is not pronounceable. Harm, bad, turn, harm, bad, turn. Fierce, short, pearl. Fierce, short, pearl. Also before a final, E that is silent also. It is not pronounceable. The, sure, care. The, sure, care. Pure, fire. Here, pure, fire. Here, iron, iron manga. Ironing, iron, iron manga, ironing. Onto the proverbs in B. Round the rugged rock, the ragged rascal rudely ran. One more time. Round the rugged rock, the ragged rascal rudely ran. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Ring a ring, oh roses. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Ring a ring, oh roses. Aurora borealis. Aurora borealis. Red as a beetroot. Red as a beetroot. Right as rain. Right as rain. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, everybody. Now, a contrast in between the L and the R. Collect, correct. Collect, correct. Glamour, grammar. Glamour, grammar. Pilot, pirate. Pilot, pirate. Light, right. Light, right. Lodges, Rogers. Lodges, Rogers. In C, we have a number of minimal pairs with L's and R's. Flog, frog. Flog, frog. Bleed, breed. Bleed, breed. Belly, berry, belly, berry, laughed, raft, laughed, raft, clash, crash, clash, crash, alive, arrive, alive, arrive, long, wrong, long, wrong, fly, fry, fly, fry, list, wrist, list, wrist, glow, grow, glow, grow, glean, green, glean, green, lead, red, lead, red. Onto the dialogue on the opposite page, page 59. The respective merits of frogs and rabbits. My rabbit can roar like a rhinoceros. Rubbish. Rabbits don't roar, Roger. You're wrong, Barry. My rabbit's an Arabian rabbit. They're very rare. When he's angry, he races round and round his rabbit run. And if he's in a real rage, he rushes onto the roof and roars. How horrid! Really, I prefer my frog. I've christened him Fred. Freddy Frog? How ridiculous! An abbreviation for Frederick. Well, you remember when I rescued him from the river last February? Excuse me, I'll do that again. An abbreviation for Frederick. Well, you remember when I rescued him from the river last February? He was crying like a canary. He was drowning. Really, Barry? Frogs don't drown. I'll do that again. The respective merits of frogs and rabbits. My rabbit can roar like a rhinoceros. Rubbish. Rabbits don't roar, Roger. You're wrong, Barry. My rabbit's an Arabian rabbit. They're very rare. When he's angry, he races round and round his rabbit run. And if he's in a real rage, he rushes onto the roof and roars. How horrid! Really, I prefer my frog. I've christened him Fred. Freddy Frog. How ridiculous. An abbreviation for Frederick. Well, you remember when I rescued him from the river last February? He was crying like a canary. He was drowning. Really, Barry? Frogs don't drown. End of Unit 27. Now on to Unit 28, where we have, consonant sound followed by R. Okay. Here we have some of the phonemes we have practiced, followed immediately by R. Once you have mastered the individual sounds of these pairs, you should have no difficulty in pronouncing the two sounds together. Be careful not to roll your R. Pronounce it nearer to the U than R. When the first sound is voiced, as in it, ish, if, etc., the A is expelled on the R and the following vowel, not on that first voiced consonant itself. A of small a of capital A. Cram, gram, tram, dram, pram. Cram, gram, tram, dram, pram. Creek, Greek, freak, shriek, treacle. Creek, Greek, freak, shriek, treacle. Crew, grew, through, 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 crew, grew, through, 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 grove, drove, throve, excuse me, trove, throve, grove, drove, throve, trove, throve, thrift, drift, shrift, thrift, drift, shrift, thrift, drift, shrift, crumble, grumble, crumble, grumble, onto small c, some longer words, miserable, unfruitful, incredible, miserable, unfruitful, incredible, unprofitable, unshrinkable, undrinkable, unprofitable, unshrinkable, undrinkable, untraceable, unbreakable, ungrateful, untraceable, unbreakable, ungrateful, unanswerable, immeasurable, unthreadable, unanswerable, immeasurable, unthreadable, onto small a of capital B, blessed, breast, blessed, breast, goes, grows, goes, grows, cave, crave, cave, crave, cave, crave, flows, froze, flows, froze, cheese, trees, cheese, trees, jack, track, jack, track, chain, drain, chain, drain, quick, crick, quick, crick, blink, brink, blink, brink, junk, drunk, junk, drunk, quest, crest, quest, crest, Joe, draw. Joe, draw. Small b of capital B. Water is carried by the local train. Water is carried by the local train. There's too much grime in the cities for my liking. There's too much grime in the city for my liking. I'm afraid brown is not my favorite food. I'm afraid brown is not my favorite food. One more time. I'm afraid brown is not my favorite food. Only free men are allowed in the sanctuary. Only free men are allowed in the sanctuary. Why don't we dry the figs for a change? Why don't we dry the figs for a change? On to capital C. You have word groups. Train crash. Train crash. Dreadful dream. Dreadful dream. Fresh fruit. Fresh fruit. Brick wall. Brick wall. Breathe properly. Breathe properly. Incredibly brave. Incredibly brave. Train driver. Train driver. Up front. Up front. Windscreen. Windscreen. Huge great crate. Huge great crate. Pretty frightened. Pretty frightened. Broken crates. Broken crates. Onto the dialogue on the opposite page, page 61. A dreadful train crash. Weren't you in that train crash on Friday, Fred? Oh, Prue, it's like a dreadful dream. A tractor, isn't that right? Crossing a bridge with a trailer of fresh fruit crashed through the brick wall in front of the train. Yes, the train driver's friend of my brother's. I was traveling up front with him. I was thrown through the windscreen onto the grass, but he was trapped under a huge crate. I could hear him groaning. Fred, how grim. I was pretty frightened, Prue. I can promise you. I crawled through the broken crates and tried to drag him free. His throat was crushed. He couldn't breathe properly, but he managed a grin. How incredibly brave. One more time. A dreadful train crash. Weren't you in that train crash on Friday, Fred? Oh, Prue, it's like a dreadful dream. A tractor, isn't that right? Crossing a bridge with a trailer of fresh fruit crashed through the brick wall in front of the train? Yes, the train driver is a friend of my brother's. I was traveling up front with him onto the grass, but he was trapped under a huge great crate. I could hear him groaning. Fred, how grim. I was pretty frightened, Prue, I can promise you. I crawled through the broken crates and tried to drag him free. His throat was crushed. He couldn't breathe properly. But he managed a grin. How incredibly brave. On to Unit 29, consonant clusters. By consonant clusters is meant two or more consonants in a row, like two consonant clusters or three consonant clusters. Now we have groups of 2, 3, and sometimes 4 consecutive consonant sounds with no vowel sound in between. Example, STR, str, KSP, sp. These consonant clusters, as they are called, are not difficult. Remember that in all languages, the tendency is to pronounce things with the least amount of effort. So keep your Lips and tongue and jaw as relaxed as possible. In some cases, only the smallest movement is needed to slip from one sound to the next. With words beginning with S plus a consonant, be careful not to put an sound before the S. Get the S right. Hold onto it for a moment, then go on to the next sound. So we are now at unit 29, consonant clusters, and this is going to be the last unit as far as consonants are concerned this time. So now, on to capital A. Extra, extreme, extraordinary, extra, extreme, extraordinary, exchange, expect, explode, exchange, expect, explode, mixed, taxed, boxed, mixed, taxed, boxed, mixed, taxed, boxed. Mixed, taxed, boxed. Mixture, fixture, texture, mixture, fixture, texture. Picture, adventure, Christian, picture, adventure, Christian. Smashed, crashed, rushed, smashed, crashed, rushed. Switched, watched, hatched, switched, watched, hatched. Sergeant, agent, pageant. Sergeant, agent, pageant. Managed, salvaged, damaged. Managed, salvaged, damaged. Arranged, exchanged, singed. Arranged, exchanged, singed. Strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. Strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. Pebble Beach, probably, vegetable. Pebble Beach, probably, vegetable. Couldn't, wouldn't, oughtn't. Couldn't, wouldn't, oughtn't. Acknowledge, acknowledge. Nickname, nickname. Bacon, bacon. Kingston, Kingston. Amongst, amongst. Kingston, amongst. I'll repeat the last, horizontal columns. Strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. Pebble Beach, probably, vegetable. Couldn't, wouldn't, oughtn't. Acknowledge, nickname, bacon. Kingston, amongst. On to now capital B. 26th. Extremely, or 26th. Extremely, dangerous, extraordinarily, sergeant, strawberries, blackberry, headquarters, suspiciously, vegetables, emergency, transmitter, explosion, sufficient, shouldn't. On to C, where you have groups of words. This extremely dangerous mission. An extraordinarily stupid sergeant. The village store. Mashed potatoes. His emergency transmitter. A large blackberry and apple pie. Onto the dialogue on the opposite page, dialogue 29. Two tricky problems. There we were, the 26th Division, on this extremely dangerous mission, with only an extraordinarily stupid sergeant in charge. If I managed to reach the village store before closing time, I wonder if Mrs. Pecksmith would exchange the strawberries for a blackberry and apple pie. Just the sergeant, dear. The message came through from headquarters that we were to proceed to what we called Pebble Beach and examine a fishing boat that was behaving suspiciously. That was a strange way of a fishing boat to behave. I could make the stuffed chicken stretch further with masses of mashed potatoes and fresh vegetables. The sergeant couldn't remember which switch to switch on his emergency transmitter. There we were, approaching the suspicious boat, and suddenly there was an explosion like an earthquake, dear. Then, with a large blackberry and apple pie and whipped cream, there should be sufficient. Strictly speaking, the sergeant shouldn't have been in charge. I remember the explosion split my trousers. Well, go and change them, dear. The children will be here in a minute. I'll do the dialogue one more time. Two tricky problems. There we were, the 26th Division, on this extremely dangerous mission with only an extraordinarily stupid sergeant in charge. If I managed to reach the village store before closing time, I wonder if Mrs. Pecksmith would exchange the strawberries for a blackberry and an apple pie. Just the sergeant, dear. The message came through from headquarters that we were to proceed to what we called Pebble Beach and examine a fishing boat that was behaving suspiciously. That was a strange way for a fishing boat to behave. I could make the stuffed chicken stretch further with masses of mashed potatoes and fresh vegetables. The sergeant couldn't remember which switch to switch on his emergency transmitter. There we were, approaching the suspicious boat, and suddenly there was an explosion like an earthquake, dear. Then, with a large blackberry and apple pie and whipped cream, there should be sufficient. Strictly speaking, the sergeant shouldn't have been in charge. I remember the explosion split my trousers. Well, go and change them, dear. The children will be here in a minute. End of Unit 29. This time, we have covered Units 26, the lateral L, 27, the trill R, the R, 28 consonant clusters followed by R, and 29 consonant clusters, consonant clusters, that is having two or more consonants in a row without a vowel sound intervening. With this, in fact, we end our handling of the consonant sounds, in fact, in this book. On Wednesday, we're going to go on to the vowels as you know, we have 12 vowel sounds. On Wednesday, we're going to, have from 2 to 3 vowel sounds, and we'll see if you have any questions on the 4 units that we have covered this time, namely the 2 liquids L and R, and the consonant sounds followed by R's, and consonant clusters.